Hi everyone, I am Dr. Sham Sharkar from Department of Chemistry, Ananda Mohan College, Kolkata. Today I will discuss a very important topic, that is chemical bonding. So this will help both BSc and MSc students as well as them who are preparing for IIT JAM, CSIR NET and GATE exams. So my today's lecture includes chemical bond, specially focused on ionic bond and ionic compounds, radius ratio rule, its application and limitation, and finally followed by few related question answer discussion. So before going to the main discussion, I would like to recommend few books which you can see on your screen. Okay, now let's move to the main point, that is what is chemical bond. So you all might know the definition of chemical bond from school level chemistry. Still, if you need to define chemical bond, you will say that the attraction forces which holds atoms or ions together in different chemical species is known as chemical bond. See, now question may arise in your mind that why chemical bond formation takes place? Why this is forming chemical bond? So you should know that to get stability or bond formation takes place between atoms or ions. Okay. So now if we come to the types of chemical bonds. So what are the main types of chemical bond? You will see that there are three different types of chemical bond. One is ionic bond, second one is covalent bond, and third one is coordinate bond. So one thing you should remember here, apart from these three types of bonding, there exist some weak chemical forces like hydrogen bonding, van der Waals forces of attraction, dipole-dipole attraction, etc. Okay. Anyway, now we will focus on ionic bond and ionic compound. See, what is ionic bond? So this is also you may read in school level chemistry. So you know that ionic bond formation takes place by Coulombic force of attraction between two oppositely charged ions. Now, how the oppositely charged ion forms? So when one or more electrons from an atom is removed, cations are formed, whereas addition of one or more electron to another atom results in the formation of anion. Now, Coulombic force of attraction which holds these cations and anions are called ionic bond. Okay, so let us know what is ionic compound. See, ionic compound is nothing but the compound which has formed by this type of ionic bond formation. For example, sodium chloride, sodium fluoride, potassium chloride, potassium fluoride, they are very well known examples. There are a lot of examples, other examples are there. Okay. Now I will show you how ionic bond formation takes place with one example. See, okay, let us see now then formation of NaCl crystal, that is formation of sodium chloride, how it forms. You can see from this diagram, sodium atom is having 11 electrons, whereas chlorine atom is having 17 electrons. Now, one electron will lose from sodium atom and which is gained by chlorine atoms. Thus, it lead to the formation of sodium ion and chloride ion. Now, they will attract to each other and leads to the formation of NaCl compound. Okay, now let us know few important characteristic features for these type of ionic compounds. See, as you have seen that complete transfer of electrons takes place between two combining atoms, which leads to the formation of bond between cation and anion. Now, so first point is the attractive force of attraction between these two oppositely charged ions in an ionic compound is purely electrostatic, very strong and omnidirectional in nature. That means this acts in all direction, not a single direction. Okay. So second point, due to very strong and omnidirectional nature of ionic forces of attraction, the ionic compounds are generally solid crystals with well-defined geometry. Okay. So third point is in solid state, as ions are fixed at their lattice points, hence they cannot move freely and they do not conduct electricity in solid state. But if you put them in aqueous solution, the ions become free to move, and in this condition they start to conduct electricity. So ionic compounds are generally do not conduct electricity in solid state, but in aqueous solution they conduct electricity. Okay, next point, the ionic compounds have very hard in nature due to very strong forces of attraction which acts between cation and anion. Okay, next point, melting point and boiling point of two ionic compounds are very high, as lot of energy is required to break down the strong forces of attraction works between the oppositely charged ions. Okay, so next point, the ionic compounds are generally soluble in polar solvent like water, but not soluble in non-polar solvent. And the last point, many ionic compounds exhibit isomorphism phenomenon. So, what is isomorphism? Okay, let us learn what is isomorphism and why this isomorphism occurs in some ionic compounds. See, the word isomorphism, iso means same, and morphology comes to the form, that means same form. That is, there are many ionic compounds that crystallizes simultaneously in the same form. They are known as isomorphous crystal. Now, the phenomenon of this type of crystal formation is known as isomorphism. So, this is a phenomenon. For example, this type of phenomenon exhibited by cuprous sulfide and silver sulfide, potassium perchlorate, potassium permanganate, and there are so many examples you can see here. Now, let us see when some compounds will exhibit this phenomenon. That means conditions for isomerism. So, there are several conditions to show or to exhibit this isomorphism phenomenon. So, number 1, two ionic compounds must be same type of chemical formula and same number of lattice points. Then they might show this type of phenomenon. Second condition, size of the ions of two compounds must be comparable. And the third point is the constituent ions of two compounds must have identical stereochemical orientation. Then they might show this type of phenomenon. Fourth point, polarizability of anions and polarizing power of cation of two compounds must be comparable. And next point, the compound should have same type of unit cell structure. That means if one is having cubic, other must have also cubic structure. And the next point is the molar volume of two compounds should be comparable. So, if two compounds fulfills above these criteria, then they will show this isomorphism phenomenon. Okay. See, it is very easy to understand when you see some example. So let us see one example where two compounds shows this type of isomorphism phenomenon. So let us consider here sodium nitrate and calcium carbonate. If you see, molar volume of sodium nitrate is 37.4, whereas for calcium carbonate 36.9, and radius of sodium ion is 95 picometer, and that for calcium ion it is 99 picometer. So these are almost comparable, and both carbonate and nitrate ions are planar, and in both cases central atom is sp2 hybridized. Hence, these two compounds will exhibit isomorphism phenomenon and they are isomorphous crystal to each other. So, they will show this type of isomorphism phenomenon. Now, here one thing you should remember that similar chemical formula always does not show this type of phenomenon. See, in case of sodium nitrate and potassium nitrate, the radius from sodium ion is 95 picometer and that for potassium ion is 113 picometer. Hence, relative size is different. So, these two compounds will not exhibit isomorphism phenomenon because of mismatch of radius of the cation in two compounds. Okay. Now, let us see the size effect. This is another aspect of ionic compounds. How size of ions affect the stabilization of ionic compounds. Okay. Here we know that in an ionic compound, each ion is surrounded by largest possible number of oppositely charged ions, which is known as coordination number of that ion. So now we will see there are some important points which tells us about the stability of ionic compounds. So number 1, most of the ionic crystal tries to attain maximum coordination number. So coordination number should be maximum always, then those ionic crystals will be more stable. Second point, the oppositely charged ion remain in contact with each other. That means they should touch to each other, otherwise they will not be stable. And the third point is the same ion repulsion, that is the cation-cation repulsion or anion-anion repulsion must be minimum in ionic compounds, then those compounds will be more stable. So stability of ionic compounds will follow above these 3 points. Okay. Now if you see these 3 diagrams, in A, 3 anions touched with the cation, but they themselves are not in touch to each other. And in structure B, cation is extremely small, but the anions are touched to each other. Whereas in C structure, both cations and 3 anions are touched to each other. So it is the stability limit. If cation is smaller than this, then the compound will be unstable. And you can see structure A is very much stable because their anion-anion repulsion is minimum. Okay. Okay, now we will discuss another important topic, that is radius ratio. The name radius ratio itself is telling what it is. You know that radius ratio, the radius ratio of radius. What radius? See, ionic compound is having cation and anion. So ratio of cationic radius and anionic radius is known as radius ratio. It is represented by rho, where rho equal to r plus by r minus. That is, r plus is the cationic radius and r minus is the anionic radius. Now let us see what is radius ratio rule. The correlation between the limiting radius ratio of cations and anions with the structure and coordination number is known as radius ratio rule. Here you should remember one point: with the increase of radius ratio, that means with the when larger size of the cation is there in an ionic compound, greater will be its coordination number. Now let us see this table. This table is radius ratio versus structure and coordination number of cations and anions in an ionic crystal. See, the limiting radius ratio, coordination number, structural arrangement and few systems I have stated here. Now see, when the limiting radius ratio is less than 0.155, the coordination number is 2 and structural arrangement will be linear. And one system I have stated here, KHF2. There are some other examples also. Now, next, when limiting radius ratio is 0.155 to 0.225, the coordination number will be 3 and here the structure will be triangular planar. Here I have shown barium carbonate as an example. Now, let's move to the next one. that is when limiting radius ratio is in between 0.225 and 0.414, the coordination number becomes 4 and structure becomes tetrahedral. See, for example, ZNS, CuCl, etc. Now, when limiting radius ratio is in between 0.414 to 0.732, that is coordination number 6 and structure is octahedral. For example, NaCl system, TiO2 system, MgO system, and there are some other examples also. Now, when this limiting radius ratio falls in between 0.732 and 1, then coordination number of that ionic crystal is 8. That means cubic geometry or cubic structure. For example, cesium chloride structure, calcium fluoride structure, etc. Okay. Now, if limiting radius ratio becomes above 1, then those type of compounds will be in the metallic compounds. So in metals, above 1 radius ratio is observed. So here you have to remember this chart, because from this chart you will be able to explain many problem you can solve with this table. Okay. Now if you see this exercise, very simple, and you can able to answer from this previous chart. See, here the question is the radius of sodium ion is 0.95 angstrom and that of Cl minus is 1.81 angstrom. So which structure NaCl belongs to? Very simple. What is the coordination number of sodium ion? See, this answer you can give from this previous table. So you have to say that the radius ratio in NaCl, that is Rna plus by Rcl minus, that is equal to 0.95 by 1.81. So this becomes 0.524. Now if you look at this table, 0.524 is falling in the range of 0.414 to 0.732, and that means it is octahedral and the coordination number is 6. So here you can say that the coordination number of the sodium ion is 6 and the structure of NaCl belongs to octahedral structure. Thus in NaCl crystal, each Na plus will be surrounded by 6 Cl minus ion, and similarly each Cl minus will be surrounded by 6 Na plus ions. Okay, now see this similar problem. The radius of zinc ion is 74 picometer and that of sulfide ion is 184 picometer. So which structure ZNS belongs to, and what is the coordination number of zinc ion? I think you will be able to do this problem just if you follow the previous one. So I will leave this problem for you. You will answer and let me know what is the answer of this question. Okay. Now we come to the point application. So there are a lot of application of radius ratio rule. So since this is very important, and if you remember that table of limiting radius ratio versus structure and coordination number, you can apply this table to many properties of the ionic compounds. So let us see what are the main application of radius ratio rule. So first point is prediction of crystal geometry. Now by considering this limiting radius ratio, it is obvious to predict the geometrical structure as well as coordination number to be adopted by the ionic compound. So what kind of structure any ion or any ionic compound will adopt, that can be predicted by seeing its limiting radius ratio value. So it is very easy. Okay, next point, prediction of thermal stability. So thermal stability also can be predicted by this radius ratio rule. So when the anions are much larger than the cations, then R plus by R minus values are very small. So in such cases, the compounds cannot have a good cation-anion contact which stabilizes the system. Rather, it leads to the anion-anion repulsion, and this is why the system having very low radius ratio, that is R plus by R minus, is not stable at all. Okay. So here I have shown you examples like lithium ion, aluminium ion. They are comparatively smaller cations, and larger anions, carbonate and BF4 minus, they are comparatively larger. Such systems are thermally unstable because of the insufficient crystal packing, and they decompose to form some smaller anions for having better packing. See this reaction, lithium carbonate forms lithium monoxide. Okay, so they are going to form some smaller anions to get better packing of the ions. Similarly, in LiBF4, it decomposes to lithium fluoride and BF3 molecule. So here also, they are trying to form some smaller ions like F minus, and they will have better packing compared to in LiBF4. Okay, so now next we move to the next application, prediction of tendency of the metal ions to form hydrated salt. So in case of salts involving small cations and large anions, the values of R plus by R minus are very low, that is, suffer from unfavorable packing. Such salts like lithium perchlorate, magnesium perchlorate, they tend to form hydrated salt in which the cations get surrounded by water molecules to increase the effective size of the metal ion. See example, LiCl4, it takes 3 molecules of water and becomes as hydrated salt. So it is not anhydrous. So anhydrous salt of lithium perchlorate is not exist. Now you can predict also solubility of any ionic compounds, whether that will be soluble or not, that also can be predicted from this radius ratio rule. Here see, the salts having very small value of R plus by R minus are more readily soluble in water, because in that case anion-anion repulsion which reduces the lattice energy in solid compounds, and that is why the solid compounds, that means the ionic compound becomes soluble. So we can predict the solubility. Okay. Now we will move to the limitation of radius ratio rule. Although this radius ratio rule is a very useful concept for the determination of coordination number and understanding the structure of ionic compound, still there are some limitation to this rule. So number 1, each ion is considered as a hard sphere for determining the optimum arrangement of ions in the crystal lattice. So this is far from reality, and some serious errors can be made if anions get polarized and the bonding in the intermediate becomes partially covalent character. So if some covalency appears in the ionic compounds, then this rule will not be valid. So this is the limitation, limited to the ionic crystals only. If any ionic crystal is having some covalent character, then this rule is not valid for it. Okay. So second point is, some compounds may crystallize in more than one modification with different coordination number. In such cases also, anion-anion repulsion and internuclear distance will be different. So this is also a limitation of radius ratio rule. And third point is, effective radius of cation sometimes greatly influenced by the anions when the polarizing power of anions is more. So that consequences, the radius ratio changes. So it's not remaining same. So it's changing with the nature of anion. So this is also limitation of radius ratio rule. See, one example I have shown here, that is silver fluoride and sodium fluoride. They crystallizes out in NaCl type structure and their coordination number is 6. Now if you assume that the size of F minus remains constant, then Ag plus is bigger than Na plus. On the other hand, if you see, when given size of a chloride ion in AgCl and NaCl, the sizes of cations are reversed, and in this case sodium ion is bigger than Ag plus. See, so here same ion is behaving different. In case of F minus, Ag plus is bigger than Na plus, and in case of Cl minus, Na plus is bigger than Ag plus. So in case of different anion, same cation is behaving as different one. So this cannot be explained by radius ratio rule. So this is the limitation of radius ratio rule. Now see this exercise. This is very important and interesting question. This is university paper. So see, let us see what is this problem. So to get an anhydrous lithium salt is difficult, but it is easy for other alkali metal salts. Explain why. You have to explain why it is difficult to get anhydrous salt of lithium, whereas for other alkali metal this anhydrous salt is available. So let us see how can we explain this problem. So this also can be explained with the help of radius ratio rule. Easily you can do that. So we know that the salts having very low values of R plus by R minus, that means when radius ratio is low, that means the salt involving smaller cations and larger anions, they suffers from unfavorable packing. And here lithium perchlorate tend to form hydrated salt in which the cations get surrounded by water molecules to increase the effective size of the metal ion, and hence lithium perchlorate takes 3 molecules of water and effective size of the lithium ion get increased. Whereas in case of other alkali metal salts, the radius of the cation is already comparatively larger than lithium ion, and in that case radius ratio does not meet unfavorable packing. That means they may remain as anhydrous salt, but for lithium that is not possible. That is why the lithium the anhydrous salt is not available, whereas for other alkali metal salt anhydrous salts are available. Okay, now see the next problem, the relative solubility trend of alkali metal perchlorates, that is lithium perchlorate, sodium perchlorate and potassium perchlorate, and their corresponding relative solubility is 10:1:10 to the power minus 3, and you can explain this from radius ratio rule. So I will put this question for you. You try this and you follow this application of radius ratio rule, you will be able to answer this question. So I will see the next problem. So this problem, see, the ionic radii of calcium ion and F minus are 100 picometer and 133 picometer respectively. The coordination number of calcium ion in the ionic solid will be, so there are 4 options given, 8, 6, 4, 2. Which one it will be? See, this type of problem I have already shown in case of NaCl, if you follow that previous question answer discussion. So here also we can explain this problem with the help of radius ratio rule. See, the answer is 8. Why 8? As R plus by R minus, if you calculate, that is 100 upon 133. So it becomes 0.752. So if you apply this radius ratio rule to this compound, see 0.752 is becoming in the limiting radius ratio range in between 0.732 to 1. So in that range we can say the coordination number will be 8 and cubic structure. So here we can say that the calcium ion will have coordination number 8. That is option A is the right answer. Okay. So I will conclude this lecture with this question answer discussion. Thank you very much. If you like my lecture, don't forget to subscribe this channel, and also you can give your answer of those 2 questions I asked for in the comment box. I will check and give you reply. Thank you once again.